Hello everybody, this is Iggy94 and you're watching my tutorial for Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts drop pods. In this video I'll be showing you how to make drop pod number 3, which was the drop pod I showed in the video previously. So to start off with, I used a strong seat. You can use a standard seat if you like. And underneath that strong seat you want a small jet facing directly downwards. Then you want to go accessories, and you want to get the two windscreens, and you want to have them so one's directly in front of Banjo's face and the other one is in front of his feet or the bottom of the chair. Now those aren't perfect the way they are now, but I'll change them later, but just keep them like that for now and we'll change them at the end of the video. Next you want to get the T-panel. I'm using super parts here, but you could use light or heavy, it doesn't really matter. You want to put one or two of them, one on top of the other, directly beneath the windshield, in front of Banjo, same for behind Banjo, and you want to put one on the bottom of the jet on the left and right side of Banjo. Then you want to get cubes and place them all the way up to Banjo's head on the sides, left, right, forwards and behind him, which are available. Then I think I get wedges, or do I get the fuel? I think I get wedges. In the corners where there aren't any parts yet, put wedges in between them, so you get kind of a cylinder going around it. And yeah, just have they go all around. I tried to edit out as much as I could, where I didn't actually do anything. But at the same time, I don't want to make this go too quickly, so you can't keep up. Next, you want to go protection and get armor. You want 4 bits of armor plating on the bottom, and they will go where each T-panel is. So not where the wedges are or where the jet is, but where the T-panels are. And that's the armor. Next you want to go fuel and get super fuel. Now I'm assuming that when you're making this that you have most, if not all, of the parts that you can get in this game, because this does actually use some of it uses just about all the parts available for some of them, and does use some of the later items such as super parts and super fuel and whatnot. Next you want to go body and get wedges, and you want to put them above where the cubes and the windshield are for the other part of the drop pod that you have already put down. And where you put wedges previously, to make the kind of cylinder shape, you want to put corners on top of them. So you're kind of making a hemisphere above the drop pod. On top of that super fuel, in the very center, you want to put a detacher. But you want to have it so that when you detach, the detacher isn't attached to the pod, but it's attached to the parachute, or the parachute-like device. It's not actually a parachute, so to speak. You know, it resembles a parachute. Anyway, so you want to have the detacher on like that, and then you want to get a super cube, put that directly on top of the detacher, and you want to put a 3x3 square of super cubes above that single cube that you just put down. So like that. Then you want to get wedges, and next to the single cube that you put on top of the detacher, you want to put wedges around like this, so you kind of so it's the opposite of the very top of the drop pod, which you just constructed. So yeah, it's like the bottom half of a circle, or an upside down hemisphere, or we can't really have an upside down hemisphere, but anyway. Or maybe you can. Anyway. Depending on how you look at it. Next you want to have wedges going up from where you had wedges before, so it's kind of a continuation. And you want to have it on like this, on the directly in front of, behind, left and right of Banjo, or from his perspective on that part. And then you want to put corners around, so essentially just making a really big circle for this part, which is the parachute. As you can see, you have your 3x3 square in the middle, surrounded by corners and wedges. So if you look from directly underneath, it kind of looks like the hemisphere. Now in the very center, at the top of what you have built so far, you want to put a super pole. Now later in the video, you'll notice that when I'm putting the balloons there, the super pole isn't there. Don't worry about that. The important thing is, don't put a balloon in the very center. You'll notice that when I'm putting the balloons here, I leave a little gap in the center. Now you want to put balloons on all the available squares except for the corner pieces. So you can see I could put a balloon there, but I don't. It's very important that you don't put it there. So you want to have the balloons in this arrangement. And you'll notice that, yeah, now I put that the pole in the center, as you can see. And on top of that pole, you want to have two tow bar pieces. So you want it so that one of them faces up, one of them faces down, so that they make a connection. So you want to have this part, the one which attaches to the pole with the red part up, and the other part with the red part down. And on top of that tow bar, you put a super fuel. You actually put two on, but I'll show you that later. You put one super fuel on top of that tow bar, and on each side of that super fuel, you put a large fuel. So you kind of form an X shape with these fuel canisters or fuel tanks or whatever you want to call them. And yeah, so you have the large fuel. Yeah, so you have two super fuels on the top. So you have a super fuel in the center, super fuel above that, and on the lower super fuel you have four large fuels around that. Now on the edge of each of those large fuels, you want a large jet of each hanging off each one of them, and each large jet should be the very top of the large jet should be the only part in contact with the fuel rods. So far the highest part of the drop pod is that second super fuel canister. Now you want to add the final balloons. You should have 6 remaining. I'm assuming you have all the balloons in the game when you make this. You notice I put a balloon on the very top there. Don't actually do that. Well, you can do it and delete it later, but that, it's not how the final drop pod is. But you do want a balloon on each one of the 4 jets. On the top of each one of the 4 jets. So now you can see if I delete that balloon. And you want a balloon on the left and right side of Banjo. So you'll see where Banjo's sitting, and you look up, you see where the 2 super fuel canisters are. There are 2 balloons there. So when you look at the drop pod from behind, you see a row of 4 balloons. Now obviously you want to paint this. Now, of course you can paint this any color you want, but why would you paint it anything other than black? You just have to paint it black. That's just how drop pods work. Now you remember I said about how the windshields need to be changed? I'm going to show you that now. You want to have it so that where the 2 windshields meet is the point that's furthest away from Banjo. You'll see when I go in the first person perspective soon. So the mirror should resemble a convex lens, so it should be curving away from Banjo. And yeah, so that's the drop pod. You'll see how there's kind of like four balloons in a line. This part here on the jets and the fuel rods. So there are 6 balloons on the very top, and one's on each jet, and there are 2 on the left and right side of the very top super fuel, which is directly above Banjo's head. Yeah, obviously you have a jet to slow you down, the balloons to act as a parachute, which you can detach at the end. And the jet alone can actually lift up this thing. In order to keep that jet, those jets up there, when you have the balloons inflated, then while you're deflating the balloons, you want to detach the tow bar. So I hope that's helped you guys. If you have any questions, just feel free to leave comments, and I hope this has helped you. So thanks for watching.